What's up, dude? Good morning, everybody. I hope you all slept well. It is 11:21 when I'm filming this the night before. This ended up being a much bigger case than I originally thought that it was going to be, but I kind of went down a rabbit hole and read a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm just kind of giving you guys, of course, the Cliff Notes version of it, and I really hope that you enjoy it. This is a topic that I think is very interesting, so let's just get right into it. Giovanni Falcone was born on May 18th, 1939. He was an Italian judge and a prosecuting magistrate, which is ultimately a civilian officer who administers the law. I'd look that up. I've heard that word, but I never knew what it meant. He had an office in Palermo, Sicily, where he spent much of his professional life attempting to overthrow the Sicilian mafia. The mafia is referred to as Cosa Nostra by its members. The mafia organized crime for profit and had a criminal society originating in the Sicily area and dates back to at least the 19th century, so they go way back. Giovanni was even involved with the Maxi trial, that was a criminal trial against the Sicilian mafia that took place in Palermo, Sicily. The trial lasted from February 10th, 1986 to January 30th, 1992. So we're looking at roughly 6 years of a trial, which is insane to think about, but just wait till you hear what else is involved with it. It took place in a bunker-style courthouse that was specifically designed kind of for this purpose. It was for privacy and safety. It was underneath a jail, if I remember correctly, which, I mean, a lot of those guys involved in the trial probably should have been in jail or were in jail, so this kind of secures that they're not going to slip away by accident. 475 mafiosi were indicted for numerous crimes relating to mafia activities. Former mafia bosses turned informants gave testimonies as evidence, which, if you know anything about the mafia, that is like a huge no-no. You do not do that. Of the 475, 388 were convicted. 2,665 years of total prison time was sentenced, like to everyone as a whole. If you totaled up all the prison time for each of the members, that's what it was. 2,665 years. A total prison time was sentenced, and 19 bosses received life in prison, which is pretty intense. It is considered to be the most significant trial ever against the Sicilian mafia. After the trial, however, several judges and magistrates were murdered by the mafia, because like I said, it's a huge no-no. You don't do that. The Council of Top Bosses ordered the assassination of Salvatore Lima and Giovanni Falcone. Giovanni Brusca, which I'm going to refer to them now as Falcone and Brusca, because it took me a minute to realize that there were two different Giovannis in this case, so just to keep things a little bit easier to remember, we'll be going by last names now. So Giovanni Brusca was given the job of killing Giovanni Falcone. So to do so, he had 881 pounds of explosives put in the culvert under the highway between Palermo International Airport and the city. Falcone used this highway to get from the airport to his home on his weekly visits, so he worked outside of the city that he lived in, so he would go back and forth. Brusca's men conducted multiple test drives, including using flash bulbs to simulate detonating the explosives on a speeding car, and a cement structure was specifically made and wrecked in a test explosion to see if the bomb would be strong enough. 881 pounds of explosives, you don't think that's strong enough? That's a lot of explosives, bro. That's like a lot. But I get it, you want to be thorough. On May 23rd, 1992, Brusca set off the explosives using a remote control from a small outbuilding on a hill to the right of the highway. The blast killed Giovanni Falcone, his wife Francesca Morvillo, and police officers Rocco DeCillo, Antonio Montanaro, and Vito Schifani. A lot of these names, it's like when you look at them, even though I've tried to pronounce them before, like to kind of prep a little bit better than I typically do, I was still like, yeah, even when I get to them, it's gonna sound like just not good, but I am trying my best. The explosion was so strong that it was registered on local earthquake monitors. So the 881 pounds, yeah, that was plenty. The mob boss who ordered the killing supposedly threw a party and toasted Falcone's death with champagne, according to Pentito Salvatore Consemi, who was another mobster. Now, Paolo Borsellino was born January 19th, 1940. He also was a judge and magistrate with an office in the Palace of Justice in Palermo, Sicily. So this is someone that Giovanni was friends with and knew. In fact, he also fought to overthrow the mafia. Giovanni and Paolo had similar lives in that they both spent part of their early lives in the same neighborhood in Palermo, and they both worked to take down the mafia, and unfortunately, both men died due to an explosion. Paolo was killed by a car bomb in Via D'Amelio, yes, like Charlie D'Amelio, literally spelt the exact same way, which is crazy, near his mom's house in Palermo less than 2 months after Giovanni. Paolo wasn't the only one killed in this explosion either. 5 officers were also killed. Their names are Agostino Catalano, Walter Cosina, Emanuela Loi, the first Italian policewoman to be killed in the line of duty, actually, so this is monumental on a few different kind of fronts, Vincenzo Lee Mully, and Claudio Trena. Salvador Rina, one of the mob bosses who was sentenced to life in prison, was arrested on January 15th, 1993 for ordering the assassination of both Giovanni and Paolo. He was serving his life in Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I totally butchered that. So he was serving his life sentence in prison for ordering the deaths of both magistrates and many other crimes, but he passed away in 2017. So Giovanni's case got reports from a Cosa Nostra insider that John Gotti of the Gambino crime family, one of the main 5 families in New York, one of the big mob families, that guy, had sent one of their explosive experts to Sicily to work with the Corleonesi mafia clan to help them plan the car bombing that killed Giovanni. Absolutely wild. I don't know. This case, to me, like, you guys, I could literally go on talking about this for hours. There is so much that goes into this. But, however, all that now brings us to today. One of Italy's most wanted mafia bosses, who was on the run for 30 years, has now been arrested. Matteo Messino Denaro, 60 years old, was one of the bosses of the Cosa Nostra mafia. He was arrested in a private hospital in Palermo where he was getting treatment for an undisclosed medical condition. He is facing a life sentence for his involvement in the bombings that killed Giovanni and Paolo in 1992. He had gotten a life sentence at the time of the Maxi trial that the 2 men were also involved in, as well as bombings that happened in Florence, Rome, and Milan the next year, 93, that killed 10 people. He received a life sentence in 2020 for these bombings as well. In 93, he organized the kidnapping of a 12-year-old boy in an attempt to persuade the boy's dad from giving evidence against the mafia, according to prosecutors. The young boy was held prisoner for 2 years before he was strangled and dissolved in acid. Horrific. Despite being in hiding, Matteo was able to still give commands relating to the way that the mafia was being ran in the area around Trapani. Inside his apartment hideout, authorities found perfumes, designer clothes, and sex pills. When he was arrested, he was wearing a $38,000 watch. So having high-end designer things was something that was very important to him. Police suspect that he was living in the apartment for the past year, but they're trying to find other places that he might have also been spending time, because there's no way he was staying in one spot for very long. Matteo is currently being held in the central Italian city, L'Aquila. And that is what I have for you as of right now. I hope that you guys found this half as interesting as I did, because I'm not kidding. If you guys want more in-depth stuff about mafias, let me know, because I think it's very interesting, and I would totally be into doing some sort of mafia type video where we could maybe talk about like the 5 major families in New York. That would be very interesting. You know, it is crazy when you think of the mafia, you think of like Al Capone and guys in pinstripe suits, and like I don't know, robbing banks, but it's like, no, they killed innocent people. They killed a 12-year-old boy. Like, they really did do horrific things. And sometimes I think we kind of glamorize that and maybe forget about that. I know that I do. So this was kind of nice to remind me that, like, it's not just funny and a fun thing to talk about. Like, they really do wreck lives. So that is it though for me today. All my case sources are linked in the description box down below. Definitely go give them a read if you would like to. But that is it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow morning with another True Crime Courier video. Bye guys.